Hello, everyone. Yes, you know me, I'm Greg, aka Grégoire, from France, from the website Greg's Whiskey Guide, and most of the time now, the YouTube channel with the same name, back after a short break. Lots of things going on here, if I may say, whiskey-wise. On a more personal ground, so I'll be quick again, too many spoilers I'm afraid. My whiskey, if I may say, I didn't distill it, I did select it and blend it, is now in the hands of the producer, distiller, who is going to put into a big stainless steel vat, and then in a few casks for marriage, and also dilute it slowly. So it will be out most probably now for the fall, September, October, I don't know yet. Okay, that's it for me. And yes, I also did Infinity bottle number 2, or batch 2, which I finalized yesterday. But it's, we'll see if there's an occasion for some of you to try it or not. Never mind. Lots of things to do, even overview, rundown, etc. The name that means we're gonna do a survey of some of the references of my collection. As I did the 12 years old expression from the GLENLIVET Distillery, Speyside, Scotland, United Kingdom, I thought before I go back to the alphabetical order or several themes, because even if I switch Ardmore and Auchentoshan, for instance, I can only go by bottles I have or a significant array of samples. If I want to talk about a distillery specifically, I thought before going to letter B, and I may have said it before, but there's a Ball Blair rundown and a Bowmore rundown coming on, I don't know when, but soon. So I wanted to close the chapter, if I may say, of one of my favorite and all-time tasting distillery, which is the GLENLIVET. I'm not going to go back to the history of the distillery and the presentation in details, etc. I talked a bit about it last time, and mostly I gave you links to my website where I did a big topic while I was doing my report about my Scotland trip in 2018. Just going to present you quickly the different expressions, but each one at its time. So we're not going to speak about the 12 years old here, because we spoke about it last time. Basically, the GLENLIVET, it's a big brand. It's we're talking about 21 millions or so liters of alcohol per annum. A significant part goes, of course, to its owners, Pernod Ricard blended whiskies, so Ballantine's and Chivas Regal mainly, but there might be also some exchanges with other blending companies, as it is the use in the United Kingdom, or at least in Scotland. And it starts now to be the use, it's very, very recent in Japan, thanks to my friend Mac from Kanpai Planet for this interesting update. Go to check out his channel if you like Japanese whiskey, by the way. There's two expressions there I won't try today. I'm going to explain you why. Maybe we'll start by an indie bottling, because I think I will probably talk about it more in an episode devoted to indie bottlers, or in an episode devoted to this indie bottler, Barry Brosson Rudd. This is a 2010 bottling of 32 years old. This is my oldest Glenlivet home. This is magnificent. I rated it, let me check, 92.5 out of 100. This is a beautiful, wonderfully aged. I thought it was refill sherry, or getting old, so I have to double check. Hogshead, refill hogshead. Okay. So this is not, and it's not colored, so it's not spectacularly dark, and it's not the purpose anyway with this reference. And also, not all the Glenlivets are matured in sherry cask. You have to know that. And even those who show some sherry, at one exception here, they're mainly still matured in ex-bourbon casks, American oak and some in French oak. Okay, so this one I will go back to it later on, like I said. And without further ado, like some say, I'm gonna speak quickly about this. The Founder's Reserve, which is a reference that appeared in 2010. My bottle is from 2015. It was something retailed around 25 euros here at that time. This was launched, I think, this is not an information, but it's a guess, when there was a shortage of 12 years old cask for the 12 years old expression, and the owner decided to focus on the best selling market for 12 years old, and often for Glenlivet, which is the United States. So they launched this no age statement. I have nothing against good no age statement, and this one, I have to say, divided opinions, and for me was a major disappointment. So yes, yeah, and I'm gonna explain you why I'm not reviewing it now. It's because of one of my habits. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, because it's my bottle, I bought it, so I do what I want with it. I did a short review on my website, and once I did it, as you can see the level, I used this to do some experiments, and also I did some kind of bottle enhancing, if you want, process, which I go more and more often now. It's while I pass the neck pour, and I tried it, let's say 4 times minimum, and it disappoints me on over time. If I think this is not a badly made whiskey, but it's just a bit weak, like it is for me, I then add samples, or end of samples I have, that for me could enhance it. So it's very personal, but if I taste it now, it has been modified, so will not be faithful. So I'm going to just read a few notes, if you don't mind. So what did I add to that? It was samples from my visit to the distillery, simple as that. End of samples, so the Master's Reserve, which is only at the distillery, which was very nice, but a bit low ABV. Captain's Reserve as well, and straight from the cask that we had in the warehouse, which is 61% ABV and around 6 to 7 years old, like probably this one is. So this is in a way, I think, better, or mandatorily different, and a bit darker maybe than the one you will find in okay, let me set this up. Still gotta do something there. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so on the nose of the unmodified version, I found ripe apple, hint of oak, very light and not very expressive nose, still a bit of some estery notes coming on, but very subdued. So the usual suspects of Glenlivet: pineapple, roasted pineapple, pear, the baked apples, slightly cinnamon, nutmeg, and other spices. On the palate, a lot of oak in the esters, but also some residual remaining sugar. It's not pure sugar, of course, it's an impression of sugar. And also some E150A, but I'm afraid you will see it in every bottle here on the table except in the bottling I just showed you. So in the beginning it was a bit sulfurous even. Then it did evolve a bit better, and over time it was really getting frustrating with a lot of added caramel. So I ended up with a rating of 72 out of 100, which is under my average scoring, which is 75 out of 100. I explained my scoring several times, and it's on my website, by the way. So that's it for the Founder's Reserve. So I hope it's not too frustrating that I'm not trying it now, but I cannot give you an experience that is no longer the one you will have if you go at your shop and buy a Founder's Reserve, but I'm not recommending it. Of course, if you're a beginner, you want something maybe on ice or mixed with other things, why not? But honestly, use a blend, a standard blend. Next on the list is the 15 years old French Oak Reserve. French Oak Reserve means here Limousin, so west of France, the same cask that usually are used for cognac maturation. So yeah, this one retailed around 35 euros in 2004. It's a bit more expensive now. I'm not sure it's gonna be lasting long. It was launched in 2004 to replace whiskey that I have and that I prefer to this one, the 12 years old French Oak Reserve, which appeared in 2000, in year 2000. So this one is from 2004, and the recipe basically is that they let the 12 years old mature for 3 years more, but 30% of it they put into French oak and then they mix it together, right? This one is 40% ABV, colored and chill filtered, and we're gonna try it. So again, no real use to show you with the, I could do that, but as it's colored, the legs, it's the same. They last a bit, but not too much because there's not many fat remaining after the chill filtration. We're gonna see though that for some expressions on the table, they are not chill filtered, which is very nice. Okay, I don't have, it's in complicated to explain, but it's somewhere that's now buried into a lot of stuff. So I don't have my notes from the year 2000. I forgot to double check on my website. So it's gonna be brand new notes of end of bottles. Not super reliable, but I have tried this a couple of times and it was not my first bottle. But it might be the last because I'm gonna explain you why. So with a few years more and with the French oak, which imparts normally a bit more spices, some more tight tannins, and also some dryness, hint of nuttiness as well. You still got the ripe fruits, apples and pears, but mostly apples. You have a hint of exotic fruit, but it's now on the second ground or third compared to the 12 years old. So not an unpleasant note, but a very restrained because of the ABV and all the rest. On the palate you get all the fruitiness and slightly spiciness I talked about, but you have more oak, and it tends now, and I remember the beginning, it tends now over time to get a bit bitter, for those who wonder. So the spices are also on the front. Ginger, cinnamon, nutmeg, not really cloves, but a lot of ginger mainly. So I'm gonna try again, and then I will open it up. I have to watch the timing because this kind of rundowns usually are long in my channel. It's a bit better with the water because, of course, it's a bit rushing and forcing the whiskey to deliver the notes that were a bit too calm and hidden, and where the bottle is standing still. When you add water and you do it quickly like that, you can. It's a good exercise, believe me or not. It's a good exercise to find the flows in a whiskey. That's why I mostly all the time add water when I assess a whiskey. I will always try it neat and then try a few drops and maybe more if needed to see what's going on. But of course, over time, the profile changes, and also the dilution which is made here already, because don't forget it's water and 40% alcohol only. This is made very slowly normally. If you rush it, the result is not going to be great. There it's a few centiliter, but if you do it in a big vat, etc., by experience of what I heard of professionals, you have to do it very slowly. And also I learned it very recently with the whiskey we're working on, French whiskey. So yeah, it needs time and care to dilute it properly, especially if you want to keep all the qualities. Okay. A pleasant kind of yellow peach, and not apricot, but maybe some citrus fruit, very tiny vanilla. I forgot to mention vanilla, but vanilla is way less important than in the Founders and in the 12 here. So it's not an unpleasant whiskey, but what does he brings now into even in 2015, I tried it before, it was better. What does this expression brings in 2021, even if I haven't tried a very recent batch, compared to the between the 12 and the 18, not enough for me to buy again a bottle, I have to say. So do I recommend this, which I will rate probably around 80, 82? Yes, for a beginner maybe. For someone who wants to build a collection with strong references of Glenlivet, probably not. So this one, you see, is getting to its end and will not be replaced. It's life. Cannot buy anything. Now on to the next one, which unfortunately I checked it today, and guess what? The cork broke, but it's this apartment's fault or my fault because I don't use enough the. I'm gonna put another cork, but I'm not gonna make this bottle last too much. I think I'm gonna mix it in maybe in my infinity bottle and other things, or put it into a sample, because I don't want to keep this kind of bottles while I have a replacement one, probably my last one as well. 18 years old Glenlivet official bottle of 43% instead of 40. Not bad. This is a 2007 bottling. Mind you, the packaging has changed as well for the Glenfiddich 18, which helped the producers to up the price. But let's be honest, with the shortage of all cask, relative shortage, you could no longer pretend, we have to be realistic, we could no longer pretend to have the price tag of those 18 years old single malts, famous ones, at the price they were before. It was clearly, it was an underpriced expression. In 2007 I bought this, believe me or not, for 35 euros. Yes, chill filtered, yes, colored, but still 18 years old for 35 euros. It was underpriced. Now I think it has doubled, in France at least. More information. Launched in 1992, the 18 years old bears, believe me or not, only 12 to 15% sherry casks in the recipe, and even those low percentage get back to sherry, refill sherry and bourbon cask before the final mix of all these casks. So this is not 100% and even not a 50%. This is less than that sherried expression. You have to know that. And the same for the archive. Not exactly the same recipe, but it's not overpowering sherry. Same for the other expressions under 30 years old. This is not the sherry which is dominating. I'm talking about the age statements, not the Nadurra you're gonna see, which is a completely different story. So yeah, this changed over the years. I've been buying and trying this for 15 years or 18 years probably, almost at the beginning, because of the bargain it was, and the value was very high. Now the casks are less exciting, I have to say. I haven't tried again the 2021 or 2020 batches, so take this with a pinch of salt. Once again, try before you buy. Now that some of the whiskey shows and others have opened, not going to talk about the conditions to enter to it, which annoys me a bit, but you can go there maybe, or buy a sample even from some platform that sells wee samples to try. Okay, so we're gonna try this now, or I'm gonna try this now. This might be some bits because the cork broke, but okay, for this one I don't have my notes either because they are very, very old, so they're in another remote file, but I know it well, and I didn't double check my notes because I wanted this to be fresh for you, while for the others I will rely a bit more. Again, very subdued. Oh, excuse me a second. I have to cut this fan. Okay, sorry for interruption. On the nose, it has a bit more depth, the 18, compared to the 15 and even the 12. Yeah, so more ripe notes. Now a bunch of other fruits coming on: peach, apricot, dried fruit, raisins, all that jazz. Orchid fruit, but yes, ripe ones. Some chocolate coming on now. Not sure of which kind, honestly. Some slight nuttiness as well coming from the sherry cask, but very tiny. Again, despite the 43%, somewhat frustrating. Yes, now there's some OBA in it, obviously, compared to the beginning. But I did try this and another bottle prior to that one, which was almost the same kind of batch. So yeah, it feels a bit watery like all the previous ones. Even the 12 feels a bit watery. Maybe it's psychological because you know it's old and should be maybe bold at 43, but it is not. That's why I probably not gonna replace it either. I don't know. I mean, I have another bottle, but that's all. Not much more on the palate, I'm afraid. On the nose, I mean, sorry. Okay. Well, if you have to chew it. You have to chew your whiskey if you want to know what's inside. Not only make it a bit swirl around in your mouth and then swallow it. You have to take a certain amount of it if you want to assess it and get into it really, and chew it a bit. And this way you can see the texture. First off, I didn't talk often enough also about texture, I'm sorry. All these are, I would say, half watery, half silky, especially the younger ones. Some creaminess as well. This one is not unpleasant. It's a very nice whiskey, especially for the price it was. Now even at double price it's nice, but regarding the demanding how can I say that, regarding now how the whiskey market has gone and how the whiskey offer with all this craft distillery has become, when we're a bit more demanding than the people that just drink it and not think too much of it or analyze or review, it's obvious we want something more, especially if we have to pay more price. Okay, this is at double the price. It's now a bit more seriously evaluated price-wise, market-wise, but I think they owe us, like for Glenfiddich, who tripled almost the price of his 18. I think they owe seriously, especially for this not high-end but a bit more premium, I don't like the word, but whiskeys, they need, in my opinion, to bring us a bit more ABV, less caramel, less no-chill filtration, at least for that 18 people, please. Okay. Well, I know I'm speaking in the desert, so except for some of you guys, but you know what I mean about professional. They don't really give of what I say. Even if I have to say I was pleased that some of my recommendation of my Whisky Live Whisky of the year 2020, all of the sudden and by total chance, while they were not sold by a certain very famous house here, all of the sudden most of the references I talked about are suddenly on the catalog. Aha. So I don't know if it's my influence or did they suddenly understood something was going on with French whiskey especially. Oh, of course they won't mention me, but I'm still happy to have that we influence if it is true. Yeah, not much more. When this was out and I tried the first years, The rating, if I remember well, was around 90, 92. Now I'm afraid it's not going over 80, 84, 86 for the best batches, which is a good rating, but for me not enough regarding what I expect from this and what I had years before. Right. So these are for the quiet babies, if I may say. And then I have to fix this after the video, because you see I cannot put it back. I have others, but they're getting now low numbered because I replaced a lot of bottles with cork breaking. I still have to do a preserve your collection video. I know that, guys. I will do it. Now we're gonna move on to the star probably of this today's show. There you go. And it will not go. The star, which again, I'm sorry, it's not the one you will find currently in retailers. Now we're going into retailers only territory. You won't find this in supermarkets normally, here at least. And this is not the version you're gonna find, because this one is age stated, while the current Nadurras are not age stated. The current Nadurras bear 3 expressions, which are this one, except there's no age statement, which means first fill bourbon cask, basically. So all these 3 expressions are natural cask strength, non-chill filtered. Doesn't say if they are colored, so we will think it is. There is this one. There is the other one we're going to try today, which is no age stated and Oloroso matured. And there's a pitted one, which completes the series. This range of a bit more demanding high-end and higher ABV whiskies. Now I'm gonna talk about this one, and then I'm gonna talk about the recent Nadurras I tried last year, which have no age statement, which is around 8 to, I don't know, I really didn't have the information honestly, but probably 8 to 10 years old, something like that, but not much more, I think. And I'm gonna tell you how far the profile of those recent ones are different from this one, and then we're gonna try the Nadurra to finish up. Okay, so this one, I still don't know if it's a natural color, but the legs are really sticking long to the glass because of the ABV and because of the non-chill filtration, which leaves the fat to hang on the glass, which is great. The fat, the congeners, are the things that carry the flavors the most openly, if I may say. So these ones are, those are clearly the oils coming from these are producing the haze when you put some ice or put it in the fridge, or so that's the things they want to be, the producers want to be removed for the wider audience who doesn't understand this phenomenon, and for them it is flawed. This is very weird because French is drinking a lot of whiskey, and they're used to the national drink which is called pastis or Ricard, that's their brands, which is some kind of aniseed spirit. They add sugar and lots of and it's they drink it with, let's say, a few centiliters of this and all the rest with cold water, so it's getting hazy. So they like it in their it's mainly in the south of France they drink that. So they like to have their drink, their aperitif, with lots of anise notes on ice and see the haze. They love the haze, but they don't want it in whiskey, which is very weird. Okay, stop the rant, Greg. So this one, yeah, it's a bottle from Yeah, I forgot to mention, so this bottle is 16 years old, batch 07/12, which means, yeah, no, the real batch name is 0712U. So it's bottled in July 2012 at 55.5% ABV. So the age statement and the 16 years old gives it a very decent time in the cask to deliver its flavors. It's especially at that ABV and non-chill filtered. So yeah, did I say no? I didn't. I'm sorry again. First expression of Nadurra was launched in 2004, but it hit the market mostly in 2006 for travel retail. At that time, Nadurra was bottled only at 48%, so with a slight reduction, more or less. And they also did in 2009 a Triumph Nadurra, which means they used the barley variety called Triumph, simple as that, and it bared a vintage 1991, and 48% ABV as well. So it's only a few years after that they launched all these series with the 16 years old statement. It didn't last long, and a few years later they launched the Oloroso. In fact, I forgot to double check. I apologize. If I can find information quick, it will be good. Yeah, 2014, same year as the Guardians chapter, for which I've been participating into the selection of the samples, the final 3 samples. I was part of the selection team, which was a press team only. But unfortunately they didn't pick, the majority of the jury didn't pick the same batch I wanted, but it's live. Yeah, also it's the year they released for the first time a 50 years old that I saw at the distillery. Wow, was quite something. Yeah, 2014 for the Oloroso. Okay, this one now. I have my notes for those two, and I have to say there's lots of things. Great balance, sublime, a lot of esters, pineapple, English licorice, all sorts, peach, pear. What is this? I cannot even read it. Yeah, some angelica and sweet spices, ginger. We'll see on the palate. This is heady, a bit heady. This is strong. This is yet balanced. This is beautiful. One of the best Glenlivet I had so far. I mean, on the average, reasonable age ones. Slangeva. Lots of power, lots of spices. The profile, I remember the beginning, the profile gets a bit, especially in my flat, gets a bit drier and spicier here, but still is beautifully fruity. Not gonna tell you the rate immediately, but it's very high. Let's put some water in it. Oh my God. All the things we like in Glenlivet are there. slightly creaminess, the vanilla, the esters providing exotic fruits. All the full orchard, the garden, the full garden is there, even with some herbs and spices, pepper, white and white and gray maybe, ginger, slight cinnamon. Not really nutmeg, more on the Oloroso version. This is beautiful, simply beautiful. This one I rated it 93.5 out of 100. This is a masterpiece, simply. Now, how the no-age statements from today are coming across to me compared to this, necessarily less good, because they're younger and a bit harsher, but I still recommend them because they basically bear the same profile, just a bit wilder, less tame and less polished by age, that's all. But I still recommend them. So probably you will lose 3-4 points, but still very good whiskey, honestly, the Nadurra, even at no age statement. Of course they can be batch variations, so I cannot recommend you everything out, but yeah, we're gonna finish the session tasting wise, just a bit few information after that, with a look at this. I know there's one E150A probably in it, never says it, so it's a shame. This what I had in UK, and it's batch 0L0614. It's called Oloroso Matured. It's a small batch, no chill filtration, first fill Oloroso sherry cask, bottle at cask strength of 60.7 ABV. I'm gonna tell it like I feel it, especially for this batch, but I tried others that were very good. If you can't find Abelard or Abuna and want something a bit more balanced, maybe regarding the harsher ones, some are beautiful, but try this, get this, because it's around 60, 70, maybe more now, 70 plus, let's say, euros. It's sometimes more interesting than the Abuna, especially if the batch is not very well made and a bit too savage. I mean spirity, that's the question. So look at this. I know this is probably colored, but still a lot of dark sherry cask are showing up here. This probably seasoned, etc., but it come across very well. I've tried it several times. I tried recent batches that were great. I'm sorry I didn't note the batch numbers. Yeah, there's something I noticed though about this one. When you open it, what you guys call a neck pour, it can be a bit not really sulfury, but winey, vinegary, spirity, can be a bit harsh. Because the Oloroso in itself, it's a lot of oxidation involved in there. So wait a bit, let it breathe, and you will have these raisins, apricots, marmalade, dark chocolate. And that's exactly what I have here. Yeah, so this is a great alternative to the expensive cask strength expressions you can find about, Speyside distilleries, matured single malts in sherry casks, in first fill sherry casks. They can be very expensive. Okay, let's go on the palate now. Wow, powerful and quintessential sherry Speyside Single Malt. Well, let me tell it another way. If you like the Macallans from, let's say, 20 years ago, or the fully sherried ones, even if this one is probably less than 10 years old or 12, I sent some few older casks in there though. This is way more interesting than I think the current offer of those distilleries pretending to bring you a sherry cask, especially value-wise. This is at the level for me almost of the Cavallan Sherry Oak Matured, with a more spicy and a stronger profile. But this reaches the best Abelard Abuna for me, at least this batch. But I tried others and I was very pleased of the balance it has. And I will dare to say even that this has more balance and probably older cask than the First Fill Bourbon No Age Statement one. It's what I felt tasting several batches those last years. Not this year, not 2020, but earlier on in 2019. This is beautiful. Honestly, this deserved good praise, and I hope the price won't jump up and the availability and quality will stay over time for this expression. Raisins, dark chocolate, slightly dusty sherry, but not at the point that in some Tam-Deuce, which annoys me. It's cleaner sherry than Tam-Deuce, for instance. For me, beautiful. Let's open it up, and we're gonna be close to the end. Again, another long video, but for some things you have to take time. Wow, it's a pleasure, honestly, to taste this for you guys. Cinnamon, nutmeg, lots of raisins. Right, it's lots of fruits, apricots, oranges, also some, not Earl Grey, but maybe some black tea. What did I wrote? Oh yeah, I forgot, of course. Dates, figs. Yeah, Earl Grey and black tea mixed together. And dark chocolate. In fact, there's some brands that brings you some dark chocolate with raisins inside it, and with hints of orange. That's some kind of things I get here. So lovely profile. This one I rated first something, but I wanna add a few things. I'm gonna put this to 92 now, so I'm adding half a point. There you go. I could say that's it, but I have a few more things to say very quickly about GLENLIVET. GLENLIVET has also in its core range a 21 years old called Archive. I tried it 2 times. It wasn't really my thing. I didn't see really the interest of upping the game from the 18 and adding 100 or more euros to it. So I'm not going to recommend it. While despite the higher price now that it was before, probably 400 euros, and I know that shocks some people and divide opinions as well, because it's 43% ABV, but I tried the 25 years old 2 times, 2 different batches, and I really think this is a beautiful whiskey. So if you have the money, if you want to do some beautiful gift and you can afford it, I recommend the 25 years old as well from the core range. I haven't tried a 50 years old, unfortunately. The Captain Reserve is a bit so-so. It was released in 2018. Also, some series I'm not really recommending, but it's your choice, is the the mystery series with the black bottles and opaque and stuff, and you have to decipher things, the code, and go to internet or some events to find out what's the recipe. A bit like black art of Bruichladdich, despite the fact you will never know what it is. So Glenlivet disclose what it is online, but honestly they're often overpriced for me, 100 or more, and I'm not fond of opaque bottles, and with a few exceptions. So there were expressions were called code, cipher, enigma, things like that. I tried only 2. They were not bad, but are they matching the high price they ask? For me, no. But it's your choice. So that's it for this time. It's been a bit long, but there you have it, a kind of survey, overview, rundown, call it how you like, of the other core range expressions I have. Of the Nadurras, the ones I recommend the most, the one is the Oloroso. Just after it, the First Fill Bourbon, and for last, the peated, which for me isn't going enough far in the peat to bring something different. It's a bit too shy expression, so it's my least favorite of the 3. A bit like for Westland, I have to say, in a way, which similar proposals, if I may say. I prefer the sherried one. But I'm digressing. Thanks for watching. Hope it was interesting. If you have an experience of a particular Glenlivet, which is not the 12, and you want to speak about and highlight in the comment, please do. And if you have questions also about Glenlivet, I can answer maybe. Don't hesitate. And again, thanks for being there, for subscribing, helping me getting over 500 subs. Click the like button, the notification bell, also share it on social media if you like the content, etc. You know the speech. Thank you very much. See you soon.